the narrative around the COVID-19 response and everything around that and the numbers that we're seeing have changed. They're entirely different than what was shown under the Trump administration. And Biden now being at the helm of all of this, it's interesting to see how the way these numbers are viewed and the response to this entire virus have actually changed. So in this article, we have Daily Wire reporting. This is a quote from Biden, and people are obviously upset about what he's talking about here and the way he's saying it for a few reasons that I'll be getting into. So he made a few remarks about this, and in the quote he said, "If we fail to act, there will be a wave of evictions, foreclosures in the coming months as this pandemic rages on, because there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months." And then he went on to say, "So look, this would overwhelm emergency shelters and increase COVID-19 infections as people have nowhere to go and can't socially distance." Now, why is this a big deal? Why are people so upset about what he's talking about? It's because of this specific part here where he says that there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months. There's nothing we can do. Here's the thing, though. He's the one that pretty much like the day after he got inaugurated was saying the 100-day mask challenge. Do you remember all of that? What happened to that? What is the point of the masks if there's nothing we can do? I mean, remember all of the Democrats for the past year that have been saying, if only we would just mask and if only we could just social distance, this whole pandemic would be over. What did Joe Biden say on the debate stage? In months. It would be over in a matter of months if people would just wear a mask and socially distance. That is what Biden has told us. That was the big debate issue. That was what he was using to basically push back on Trump's agenda of saying that we should open the country up. People should be able to work. I mean, in the second portion of the quote, he says people can't socially distance. In other words, he's basically saying, look, it's impossible to social distance, and you know, he's not really knocking the masks, but it's clear that the masks don't work if he's saying that there's nothing they can do to change anything over the next few months. And we're supposed to go along with this entire thing. So it goes on where he's saying, we're 400,000 dead, expected to reach well over 600,000. So is Joe Biden accepting responsibility for these deaths? Is he basically saying that these extra more than 200,000 deaths that are going to occur are inevitable and that it doesn't matter who really is in office, that it's going to happen anyways? That couldn't possibly be the case, right? So this is exactly what we've been saying for the past year. We knew that Biden didn't have a plan for this virus, and we knew that it didn't matter whether Trump was in the office or wasn't in the office. Don't get me wrong. Trump made great decisions to help fight against this. But at the end of the day, nobody in the world had a good control over this virus, which is what makes it so crazy that Democrats would consistently slam Trump and say he's responsible for these deaths, while ignoring the fact that nobody in the world had this virus under control. Nobody in the world had great numbers with this thing, right? No one handled this situation perfectly because it can't be perfectly handled, and every country is different, and it doesn't matter whether Joe Biden as an empty suit is in the office or if it's Trump that's actually trying to do stuff to at least allow us to keep our jobs. I mean, all of this stuff Biden's talking about with rental assistance and all of the things that he's wanted to put into place, none of it would be a problem if Democrats would open up the country, allow people to work. That was exactly what Trump was trying to do, and now they're looking pretty stupid because they don't have him to blame. Now, I'm sure many of them are still going to say, well, you know, it's the reason why the deaths are going up is because of the fact that it's going to take a while to fix what Trump started. Sure. But that's not what Biden is saying. He believe it or not, he's not really, at least in these portions of it, really blaming all this on Trump. I mean, he said, you know, on the debate stage, You put on the mask, you socially distance, this virus goes away. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case based on what he's saying now, obviously. I mean, anybody with common sense knew that he was basically lying at that point in time. The other thing, too, is think about this. Remember when Trump was in the interview and he was basically being pressed by this journalist about all of the deaths and the numbers compared to other countries. And Trump said a line that the media, I mean, they had this front page story for about pretty much a month where he said, it is what it is. And he was saying this in response to the fact that, look, the numbers are what they are. It is what it is. We're going to try to do our best to go beyond that. But just those few words, it is what it is, cost him months and months of shame from the media, from Twitter, and the blue check marks there. How could he possibly say it is what it is? It isn't what it is. Well, how is this any different? How is what Biden is saying here any different than what Trump said at that time? That there's not much we can do to a certain degree. The difference is Biden is saying, oh, this is so hard. This is so bad. The virus. Oh my goodness. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. But no, don't work. Don't worry about paying your rent. Don't do that. Don't have a job. Don't run your business. But oh, there's nothing we can do about it. Trump was saying, look, we're going to do everything we can. We're going to continue with the vaccine. We're going to continue with testing and stuff like that. But let people work. Let people run their business. There's a big difference there. And I think people are already seeing this now, that what Biden is saying is nonsense, because what he's basically getting at is exactly what we already knew this entire time, that he isn't going to be able to single-handedly change all of this stuff. But I'm going to personally sit back and enjoy blaming all these extra deaths on Biden, because now it's all his fault. The same way they did it for Trump, I'm going to do the same thing for Democrats. That's what they get. You wanted to play this stupid game that we told you was stupid to play, then this is the way we're going to play it. Because something tells me that if all of the things were reversed and somebody else was in office that wasn't Trump, and I don't think Republicans would, under normal circumstances, be quick to just start blaming somebody for deaths that they have nothing to really do with specifically. Of course, they can make macro changes and things like that, like shutting down travel from China and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at them and I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to do what you did to us for the past year. And all of these deaths are all Biden's fault. And just a quick reminder to like, share, and subscribe to the channel here. I also have a Patreon where you can help out and support the show. But the best thing you can do is to share this video, repost the video, retweet the video, whatever social media that you're on, so we can help get the word out about all of the craziness that's going on with this Biden administration.